You give me a countdown.
You're ready.
Yep.
You're ready, David. You're ready to go.
All right. Welcome everybody to the first regularly scheduled meeting of the Joint Development Authority for the Athens-Clarke County and the City of Winterville on February the 3rd, 5:35. Let me bring up my agenda. Yeah. All right. We need to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Stephanie, raise your hand. So we get Stephanie putting forth the motion. Do I have a second?
Second, Dodd.
Dodd, okay. Yeah, okay, Dodd seconded. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of adopting the agenda, say aye or raise your hand, one or the other. Any opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously. Next is the approval of the minutes of the last meeting. I have two changes I wanted to make. Under new business, part B, we have Stephanie putting forth the motion and Eric is seconding it, but no outcome. And I believe we approved that motion unanimously, if I recall correctly. So we need to add that to item 5B at the end. And the other thing on item 7, it's not a special called meeting. It's the next regularly scheduled meeting. So we need to change all the wording in 7 to throughout the number 7 to regularly called meeting. And those are the changes that I would like to see. I guess I should put a fourth motion to approve with any amendments. Is there a motion? I'll put forth the motion. Any a second?
A second.
Is this Ken? All right.
Yes, Ken. Second.
All right. Ken seconded it. All right. Any discussion other than what I've asked Tim to change?
I do have a question, and this is more rules of order. I don't actually care. Hi, nice to meet you, Ken. Is Ken able to second? Have we officially made him a director? Does he have that?
It's not up to the JDA to do that. The appointing jurisdiction does it.
Perfect. Okay. Ken, what's your last name, by the way?
Parent.
Okay.
Parent.
Yeah, and also Tim at the bullet point at 7 next regularly called meeting as well. Change that to regularly right at the beginning of 7. There you go. All right. Are there any other corrections or changes to the minutes that people need? I'm not hearing any. All right. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor of approving the minutes as modified by Tim, raise your hand or say aye. Both, whatever. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Go back to the agenda. Speaking of Ken, I'd like to welcome Ken Paris to the board of directors. I think you'll find a congenial group, Ken. We're looking forward to work.
Well, thank you. I'm pleased to be here and look forward to working with you all as well.
Great. Just I don't know whether we ever gave introductions for of each other in the past, but can you give me a one sentence or two of, what your background is or what for everybody?
Sure. I'm from Marietta originally. Went to school here 100 years ago. Went to graduate school in Atlanta. My background is business. I have an MBA from Georgia State and have worked in startups and international business since then. I moved to Athens about 20 years ago with my family, and raised 4 daughters in this community. And so now I'm in a new stage of life. My youngest just went to college. I'm supervised. So
For any of the kids, that's a big event. All right. Well, thanks for that introduction. Let's see. Under new business, there's nothing actually there from what I see.
Could I
So-
bring something up? I just want to mention something to ask you guys your opinion. We still have the website showing that we have a program that you can apply for, even though obviously it's closed. Should we pull that down and put up some kind of summary of the funding that we distributed just to update the website?
Yeah, it makes sense to me to do that. Stephanie, I just say go ahead and take it down and put a boilerplate. You might want to let everybody take a look at what you're going to put there, just so everybody can chime in electronically.
I will work with Ilka to develop some language and figure out what to put there, and then send y'all a Word doc to make sure you're fine with the content.
Okay, that's fine. I don't think we need action for that since there was no agenda item. So, everybody all right with that? By the way, anybody not okay with that? Okay. All right. On to Stephanie again. We got our treasurer's report.
Okay, I'll just share my screen. Okay. Do y'all have any questions? Because I'd rather just answer questions and go through stuff that you could already have read before.
It's a moot point to me, but we ended up with a little under $15,000 in our grants left over because people didn't claim them.
Right.
But we also had a number of people who missed the cutoff, and it's too late now because it's the new year. We have to give the money back. But I'm just curious as if there was any way that we could have potentially awarded that to the people on the waiting list, quote unquote.
Well, we can set a timeline. That was one of the things that I would say would be a lesson learned, is to say there's a cutoff for when the check could be picked up, but we never set that. And it was in mid-January when I contacted the bank because I saw there was still some money in the grant account that I said, well, number one, I couldn't see that this money was left because they'd pulled it all out. But I wanted to find out from them who was it that didn't pick it up, that they didn't actually pull the money. And then I found out there were 6 businesses that hadn't picked up their check. I got 2 of them to come get them so that there were the ones that were left. But the reason we didn't know is because they pulled all that money out at one time. So it was gone out of our account. But they were holding it and issuing checks out of their trust account.
Okay, that's fine.
So, yeah, if I had thought to check them.
Well, if in the future we have, this situation, we probably should put a deadline for people to get their checks. And then after that deadline, we may have a little window to offer to those who are still on the waiting list, if there are any. Again, it's too late because it's a new year, but just something for future use. I also understand from Ilka that that not all the loan awardees have signed their paperwork. And I think we need to set a deadline for them to either sign the promissory note, or after X date that that money is going to go back into our pool for future loans.
I kind of propose that we go ahead and like what I did with the people that didn't pick up their grant check, that I send them a final email that says if they don't get in touch with the bank by a date, and maybe it's next Friday, that those loans will be recalled, like rescinded. I asked Rhodes about lending requirements or lending law that required you to do that, and he said absolutely not, because they could just reapply when you open it up again and get it. So it's not like you're preventing them from getting a loan. You're just not giving them the one that they already had qualified for. It's kind of up to us. I kind of opt on the let's send them a final email, and if they don't respond, we're not going to send them an official notice that we rescind it, but it's rescinded.
All right. Well, since this is the treasurer's report and this falls under that, I'd like to put forth a motion to notify the outstanding loan people who have not signed and give them till next Friday to consummate the paperwork. Otherwise, that money will be put back into the pool for future loans.
And this on the screen are the ones, 126,000. I know a few of these don't want it, period. I've talked to them personally. But
Okay,
some I don't know about.
It'd be nice to get it in writing from them in an email so we can document that verbal conversations are fine, but I'd rather have them say in an email, I don't want this loan.
Yeah,
So,
or not, but see, a lot of them won't reply, period. The only reason I say that is because Shuffle Club in Manhattan, he did send me an email that says he doesn't want it. I have that one.
okay, we don't need to send it to him then if he's already said he doesn't want it. It's the ones who have not responded that we send one last email. And anyway, that's what I propose as a motion. Is there a second for that? Anybody?
Second.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the motion?
The motion is that we send an email to all the people who have not signed their promissory notes for loans,
Okay.
that they need to do so by next Friday. Otherwise, the money will go back into our loan pool.
Okay. There was just a lot of discussion in between, so I lost
I
track
know
of what the motion was. Okay.
that's the gist of the motion.
Thank
And
you.
was it Ken you seconded?
Dodd, second.
Dodd, okay, Dodd seconded it. All right, any further discussion of the loan? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, say aye or do whatever you're gonna do. I can't see I can't see everybody because the screen's taken up. But anyway,
Aye.
all those opposed. All right, motion carries. I didn't hear any nays, so okay, that's what I wanted to talk about with regard to the report.
All right, and I added a little bit more information for you guys. We approved 59 loans, 49 of them closed. Those 10 above are the ones that didn't close. The average loan, $11,550. Round one, we issued 209 loans, but 3 people rejected them because of the Northeast Georgia Business Alliance. So we distributed 206, an average of almost 3,000. Round two, 160 approved, 157 distributed. Those 3 that did not, that we gave the money back. So our average grant is $6,200. And the grant account is zeroed out and will be closed, and it's clean. And that's it.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions about the treasurer's report? All right, I'd like to put forth a motion to approve Stephanie's report. Is there a second? Say your name.
Cassio, second.
Okay. Erica seconds. All those in favor, say aye. Or, yeah, now we got faces back. Whatever. All those opposed. All right. There is no opposition, so motion passes unanimously. Ouch. Anyway. Okay. Next staff report. Ilka, you're up.
Hi, it's good to see everybody. It's good to see you too, Ken, after emailing. It's good to put a face with a name. Welcome to the board. So as y'all remember, before and after the grant and loan process, we had a set of wonderful community volunteers from a lot of the sort of business support organizations that offered to help the businesses to fill out their applications. And then also afterwards with like business coaching and financial reviews to help the business owners. This past week, Charlie Schroff with SCORE, which is, I forget what it stands for, but it's like the Society of Retired Entrepreneurs. They do a lot of business coaching for entrepreneurs and existing small businesses. And he floated an idea. They would like to create a mastermind or roundtable program here in their Northeast Georgia chapter. It's basically community learning circles for entrepreneurs and small business owners so that they can share resources, help each other brainstorm, help each other think through issues. They usually try to mix up the membership so it's diverse and they don't have people with the same industry. You might be competitors. So what he offered to do is that they would like to develop them and they would like to make it available as a no-cost support, sort of a support system for the businesses that indicated they would love to have that kind of support. So his request was whether we would be willing to send out some information to the list of businesses that had indicated in the application that they would be open to having some help like that. And I told him I would like to check with y'all first to make sure y'all were okay with us doing that.
Yeah, they're also
Any
called
thoughts?
mastermind groups.
Yeah, that's the official name.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Is it like one of those free apps, but there's in-app purchases, or is it really just a community service?
It's just a community service, and it's basically small groups of people that get together and serve as resources for each other and sounding boards and share ideas and resources, things they've been through, that sort of thing. And SCORE can help facilitate them.
Do you know if they can facilitate virtual meetings as a part of that service?
I can send you. He sent me kind of a write-up, and it sounds like they're basically autonomous groups. They can determine if they want to be virtual, if they want to be in person. Usually, they have a small business owner or entrepreneur that sort of helps to lead the group, and then the members determine what they would like to do for each session. But SCORE will help to get them up, and the SCORE volunteers will serve as resources for the group on different topics.
Okay.
But I can send you, he sent me a little note, write-up that sort of talks about the purpose, the meetings, the subject matter, what SCORE's role would be, and that sort of thing, and I'll be glad to share that with y'all.
It sounds like a good resource to me, a good offering, community offering to me, but we feel the need for a formal motion to Elko send out the offering to the people who requested
I'll just post it to the drive for y'all.
Yeah, you can see what their offerings are, or what they're proposing. But I just let Elka in a role. It's JDA and economic development to send an email out to these people who requested help. Is anybody opposed to that? Do you want to make it formal? Yeah, I don't think we need to make it formal unless everybody.
Yeah, what would we formally be agreeing to if that were the case? I guess I don't see us. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they're wanting this information to build this community network. I'm not really sure what we need to approve or disapprove.
We just basically would be sharing information, the names and the contact information for the businesses that had applied for the JDA, either grants or loans, and said yes, they would be interested in some business coaching.
It could be something, as a result of your expressed interest in help through through your JDA, whatever. She could post something for us.
It would be kind of like a follow-up. Here's a follow-up resource because you indicated on your JDA application.
That's the only connection to us is the fact that they applied for a grant or loan and asked for help.
Mm-hmm.
Ilka, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Is this something that if we do for this group, that other groups that come, you'll be able to do the same thing?
Just thinking strategically, I think since SCORE was one of the groups that volunteered previously to help us, I think if we were going to offer the same sort of connection to another group, it would probably be one of the groups that had already offered their assistance through the JDA, that loan and grant application process. And that was basically SCORE, SBDC, Goodwill. Those were the three sort of formal organizations. But it is a great question that you raise.
I would think if Ilko, if you got inquiries outside the JDA for assistance with, that kind of stuff, that you could potentially steer them in the direction of the SCORE folks
Mm-hmm.
outside of, the JDA.
Right. Yeah. If someone were to call anyway, looking for that sort of service, I would probably connect them with one of those resource groups that had helped us, with the process too. So these SCORE groups, I would probably send it out and just say, this is a follow-up resource. And then I guess people can delete it if they're not interested, and then they can connect directly with SCORE, and that would be the end of JDA involvement.
So is everybody okay with that? It's an informal decision. Okay. I don't feel the need necessary to put a motion for that because Ilk is going to take the lead on it, and he'll just probably have us in the initial email that she sent out to people.
Yeah, I can copy you on it. I'll just blind copy y'all.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right.
That's all for the staff report, really.
Okay. Council report, Dan, you still there?
Yeah, I have a council report. People in Athens are always attuned to football season. We have another season going on now, which is the silly season. The General Assembly is in session. So as my property professor told me at Emory Law School, no person's life, liberty, or property are safe while the Georgia General Assembly is in session. We have two mayors in the group, so you will either be amused or appalled at some of these. Representative Mary Margaret Oliver from Decatur has introduced a package of 3 bills. House Bill 23 would allow school boards to get in the middle of annexation decisions between a city and a county. House Bill 66 would allow the school boards to become participants in interventions against development authority bond deals. And House Bill 24 would allow a county to object to a city's annexation or to find out about incentives in the course of the city's annexation if the city's offering incentives as part of it. So this package was not formally entitled the I Hate Cities package, but it's kind of like that. There's another one that came out of, I think this is from Clayton County. It was introduced in the last session too. It's a little different this time, which is House Bill 148 that would allow the governing body of the governing body that activated a statutory development authority. Like our two cities activated this JDA. ACC has a statutory development authority that the unified government activated. So this would allow the governing body to have a judge, jury, and executioner proceeding where they could take up allegations of conduct against the development authority board member and make the finding that he or she has done something they weren't supposed to and remove him or her from office. So none of these are likely to pass. You can never tell though. They're not supported by Georgia Economic Developers Association for some odd reason. I don't think GMA has taken a position yet on Representative Oliver's package of bills. But as far as and there's also, you've probably read in the paper, Senator Oliver's bill on auditing statutory incentives for business and industry. That has not passed in the past because he's been a little overreaching, but I think he's pulled back a little bit. And the speaker don't believe opposing it this time, so it's likely to pass. And that's sort of I'm not too concerned about that bill. I like data anyway. Usually something like that is intended to provide fodder for somebody's, mission or campaign, but the data itself, as long as it's good data, could actually be helpful. So that's what's going on in the General Assembly. If you have questions, I'd be glad to go on for hours, but I thought y'all ought to know about it. It's not that relevant to our mission.
So anybody have questions for Dan on those?
I'll say, Dan, I sit on Georgia Municipal Association's Legislative Policy Council, and when things like this come up, I am never more happy to be in a unified government, in which we have a great relationship with our independent municipality, Winterville. Yes, no, it's fascinating stuff, and interestingly, of course, the unified government. We are part of both Georgia Municipal Association and the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia. So sometimes we hear from both ends, and obviously, a lot of this stuff is sort of metro centric. Given the sort of fisticuffs that sometimes happen between both the cities and the counties, as well as between the school boards and the municipalities. So God bless them.
Kelly, you're absolutely right. What this is a local squabble that they can't resolve locally. So they export their problems to Atlanta, try to get a law passed, and then it becomes everybody's problem. DeKalb's done it twice before. And Clayton County had a situation involving the removal of a board member of the County Development Authority that could have gone the other way. So my guess is that's behind the movement to get this bill passed. But it's just taking dirty laundry somewhere else. And I like you. I'm grateful to work in communities where folks get along and don't do things like that. So God bless Athens-Clarke and Winterville.
Amen. All right. Any other comments or questions? All right. I don't hear any. We need a set date for our next meeting. Well, if it is our regularly scheduled meeting, it will be the first Wednesday in May. And I assume 5:30 to 6:30 works with everybody.
Great. That's May the 5th, David.
Okay, May 5th.
I think it's May 5th.
I believe you.
If it were May 4th, it would be a wonderful day.
That's your birthday?
If it were May 6th, it would be a wonderful day. Oh, Dan, you're a fellow Taurus.
It's Star Trek Day. May the 4th be with you.
Oh, yeah.
Or Cinco de Mayo.
Well, it's Cinco de Mayo. Erica should know that. Anybody have any problem with that as our date?
No.
I mean, I'm assuming we don't want to take on another round of loans for right now, right?
I don't know, Kelly, do we need to do another round of loans?
I don't think so. I mean, we'll see what the next congressional package looks like, and probably we'll be revisiting. But at least for right now, I have not been getting calls for additional loan funds.
You can never tell what will happen, but there is a chance that a good portion of that package will go directly to cities and counties, which I like.
Me too. And in fact, I've been advocating to our two senators to ensure that that's the case for cities and smaller than the prior threshold.
Are there any initiatives in the county, Kelly, where the development authority can assist? Any help that y'all need where we could fit in?
Nothing that really is sort of ready to be launched in the very near term. There are some things that may come up this calendar year. Some about housing as it pertains to economic development, and some other items. So I definitely have this body in mind, but nothing right away.
Okay.
And I assume that the federal monies would be grants, not loans, right? That's what the original stuff was.
Grants to the communities, and I don't know whether they're grants or loans if we pass them on or not.
Yeah, the last COVID monies were grant only monies, right?
Yes, in terms of what when they hit our treasury, yes, and some of them came out of that, of course, as loans. But yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's separate loan programs for businesses, the PPP and the EIDL.
Right, that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I would like to say to Ken that he should not get a false sense of security that we don't do any work, because we have worked our tails off up until this board meeting. I mean, we have worked so much, and we just don't have a program going on right now.
This board did a fabulous job. I mean, to have outsourced that to the private sector would have cost a fortune. This board did a fabulous job with this.
All right. Well, so we have May 5th at 5:30 to 6:30 at the next meeting. I'll put forth a motion to set that. Have a second?
Second.
Stephanie seconds it. All those in favor say aye, or raise your hand, whatever. All right. Any opposed? All right. We're gonna. It's actually been set in stone that that's our date, but I just thought I would approve it with you anyway. The only thing left to do is to adjourn. So I'd like to put forth a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Second. Third.
I think it was Erica that first was in. So
I thought she was given a live long and prosper sign there, but I could have been wrong.
And that too.
it could be. All right. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye or raise your hand. Anybody opposed? All right. We are adjourned. Motion passes unanimously.
Good night, everybody. Good to see you.
Good to see everybody. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you. Enjoyed it. Thanks.